Are you ready to level up your game and become the best version of yourself? Then listen up, because we're about to share 5 rules that you should never break. These rules will not only help you become a more respectful and trustworthy individual, but they'll also give you an edge in both your personal and professional life. So get ready to take notes, because these rules are non-negotiable. 1. Never wait for conflict. As a man, it's important to take ownership of your actions and the impact they have on those around you. That's why the first rule that you should never break is to never wait for conflict. What do we mean by this? Simply put, you should never let a situation escalate to the point where there is conflict or tension between you and another person. Waiting for conflict is a common mistake that many men make, especially in their personal relationships. Instead of addressing issues head-on, they often avoid them, hoping that they'll just go away on their own. But this approach rarely works and can often make things worse in the long run. So what should you do instead? The key is to address issues as soon as they arise. This means having open and honest communication with the people in your life, whether it's your partner, your friends, or your colleagues. If something is bothering you, or if you notice that there's tension between you and someone else, speak up and address the issue directly. Now, we know that this can be easier said than done. It can be uncomfortable to confront someone and have a difficult conversation. But the alternative is much worse. By waiting for conflict, you're allowing the situation to fester and grow, making it much more difficult to resolve in the future. By addressing issues head-on, you're showing that you're a mature and responsible individual who takes ownership of their actions. You're also building trust and respect with the people in your life, as they'll appreciate your honesty and openness. 2. Never get lost in the sauce. The second rule that men should never break is to never get lost in the sauce. Now you might be wondering what exactly we mean by the sauce. Well, we're referring to anything that can cloud your judgment and lead you down a path that you might later regret. This can include alcohol, drugs, or even just a general sense of overconfidence. As men, we often feel the pressure to be the life of the party or to prove ourselves in certain situations. And sometimes this can lead us to engage in risky behavior or make decisions that we wouldn't normally make. But the truth is, getting lost in the sauce is never worth it. Not only can it lead to poor decision-making, but it can also damage your reputation and your relationships with others. If you're constantly under the influence or always looking for the next high, people will start to see you as unreliable and untrustworthy. So, what can you do to avoid getting lost in the sauce? First and foremost, it's important to know your limits. Whether it's with alcohol or anything else, it's important to set boundaries for yourself and stick to them. Don't let anyone pressure you into doing something that you're not comfortable with. 3. Never lie for sex. The third rule that men should never break is to never lie for sex. It's no secret that men are often willing to do just about anything to impress a potential romantic partner. But the truth is, lying to get someone into bed is never acceptable. Not only is it disrespectful to the other person, but it's also a betrayal of trust. If you're lying to someone just to get them into bed, you're essentially taking away their agency and manipulating them into a situation that they might not have agreed to if they knew the truth. Furthermore, if the other person finds out that you lied, it can lead to serious consequences. You might lose their respect, damage your reputation, or even face legal repercussions if the lie was particularly egregious. So, what can you do to avoid lying for sex? First and foremost, be honest with yourself and the other person. If you're not looking for a serious relationship, don't pretend that you are just to get into their pants. Be upfront about your intentions and let them make an informed decision. It's also important to remember that consent is key. If you're lying to someone to get them into bed, you're essentially taking away their ability to give informed consent. And that's never okay. Before we continue, if you're enjoying this video, do well to click on the like and subscribe buttons to show your support. If you've done that, let's continue. 4. Don't get lost in the chase. Alright guys, let's talk about the dating game. It can be exhilarating, nerve-wracking, and sometimes downright confusing. But amidst all the excitement, there's an important rule that every man should remember. Don't get lost in the chase. What does this mean? It means that while pursuing someone you're interested in, it's crucial to maintain your sense of self and not lose sight of who you are. It's easy to get caught up in the pursuit of someone you're attracted to, but it's important to remember that a healthy relationship is built on mutual respect, honesty, and authenticity. One mistake that many men make is trying to be someone they're not in order to impress their crush. They may exaggerate their achievements, pretend to be interested in things they're not, or even change their personality to fit what they think their crush wants. But this is a recipe for disaster. Not only is it dishonest, but it's also unsustainable in the long run. Eventually, the real you will come to the surface. And if your crush was interested in the facade you created, it could lead to disappointment and a breakdown in trust. Instead, be genuine and authentic from the start. Be proud of who you are and what you have to offer. Don't be afraid to express your opinions, share your passions, and show vulnerability. Authenticity is attractive, and it lays the foundation for a healthy and meaningful relationship. Another aspect of not getting lost in the chase is maintaining a healthy balance in your life. It's easy to become consumed by the pursuit of someone you're interested in, but it's important to remember that you have a life outside of this relationship. Don't neglect your friendships, hobbies, and personal goals. It's essential to maintain your own sense of identity and not become overly dependent on the other person for your happiness and fulfillment. 5. It's okay to help. Most times, we often feel a sense of responsibility to take care of those around us, whether it's our partners, friends, family, or even strangers in need. And that's a commendable quality. However, it's important to remember that helping others is not a sign of weakness, but rather a display of empathy, compassion, and strength. One common mistake some men make is believing that asking for help or showing vulnerability is a sign of weakness. This can stem from societal norms or outdated gender stereotypes that suggest men should always be independent, self-sufficient, and never show their emotions. But this belief is not only harmful to men, but also to those around them. It's okay to ask for help when you need it. It's not a sign of weakness, but rather a recognition that everyone has limitations and may require assistance from time to time. Whether it's seeking advice, emotional support, or practical assistance, reaching out to others can actually strengthen relationships and foster deeper connections. It shows humility, self-awareness, and a willingness to be vulnerable, which are all important qualities in healthy relationships. All right, guys, we've come to the end of this video, and if you enjoyed it, do well to click on the like and subscribe buttons. Don't forget to check other videos on our playlist. We've got some amazing contents for you. See you in our next video.